This is Mac OS Ken.
Katie Huberty is actually gone this time. A big deal between Apple and T-Mobile. An Apple Arcade questions answered. It is Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. SimpliSafe is advanced whole home security that puts you, your home, and your family's safety first. I love the fact that they let you build the system you need. Maybe you're good on smoke detectors, but need door sensors, flood sensors, or cameras. The point is, what you need for your home may be different from what other people need, so get the components that are right for you to make your home as safe as can be. Monitoring plans are affordably priced at $1 a day with no long-term contract or hidden fees, because feeling safe at home shouldn't leave you feeling broke. And setting it up couldn't be simpler. I had my SimpliSafe system up and running in well under an hour. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplisafe.com/macOSKen. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. SIMPLI. Go to simplisafe.com/macOSKen. A headline from Apple Insider. Katie Huberty is no longer covering Apple for Morgan Stanley. That is apparently official this time. Toward the end of June, Apple 3.0 said that Katie Huberty has moved on to a management role, but was still involved with Apple coverage as the firm transitioned over to Eric. The Eric in question was Eric Woodring, the guy taking over Cupertino coverage. And yet notes kept coming, not from Woodring, but from Huberty. Yeah, we're apparently done with that. While the piece from Apple Insider had not heard anything about Huberty moving into management, it did say Morgan Stanley sent out a note to investors on Thursday, penned by analyst Eric Woodring and his team. In that note, Morgan Stanley said that with this report, Eric Woodring is assuming coverage of Apple. And he didst hit the ground running. Apple 3.0 ran part of Woodring's 31-page introductory note, and boy oh boy does he sound bullish. Quoting that note, "We believe a more pronounced shift to a subscription-like model could add roughly $1 trillion to Apple's current market capitalization. As we've long argued, Apple's industry-leading retention rates and expanding ecosystem of hardware and services has already created one of the world's most valuable technology platforms that centralizes and controls everything from traditional communication to entertainment, social media engagement, photo and video development, gaming, business, payments, travel, fitness, and more." The problem as he sees it, the market continues to value Apple shares more like a traditional, albeit best-in-class, technology hardware platform. Not the way to do it in Woodring's estimation. Quoting the note again, "We believe that as Apple's installed base matures, retention rates maintain or improve from already high levels, new market opportunities emerge, and Apple proves they can drive sustained growth and spend per customer, investors will begin to gravitate towards a more lifetime value-based valuation approach." The way he and his team see it, while most companies try to make back 5 times what they spend acquiring customers, Apple makes back 16 times its acquisition costs. That is well ahead of other true subscription businesses like Netflix, SiriusXM, New York Times, and Spotify, according to the report. Mr. Woodring maintains Morgan Stanley's overweight rating on Apple shares. He's also holding on to the firm's recently lowered Apple price target of $180. Apple and T-Mobile may have given each other a big boost on Thursday. Sorry for throwing in a third company there. Saying boost felt better than leg up. Anyway, 9to5Mac highlights a press release from the Un-carrier announcing Ultimate Plus for iPhone. It includes Apple Business Essentials, which the piece reminds readers includes device management, 24/7 Apple support, and iCloud storage. Quoting the press release, and please pardon the PR speak, Business Unlimited Ultimate Plus for iPhone is the first and only wireless plan that makes IT easy for small business, pairing Apple Business Essentials with Apple Care Plus for Business Essentials, along with a new iPhone 13 for new lines, 200 gigabytes of high-speed hotspot data per month, and more. Doing a bit of compare and contrast, 9to5Mac says Apple Business Essentials is free for the first year, with the service running $2.99 per month per device afterward. On the other hand, Ultimate Plus for iPhone goes for $50 a month per line with 6 or more lines, though it comes with all sorts of carrier-type stuff on top of the Business Essentials service, including that iPhone 13, the 200 gigabytes of hotspot data, unlimited talk, text, and data on the phone itself in the US and over 200 other countries, and unlimited in-flight Wi-Fi on select airlines. And somebody else takes care of the setup. Could be a big deal. Time will tell. We're learning a bit more about this week's software updates. Earlier this week, Apple revised its current software, shipping iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, and HomePod software 15.6, macOS Monterey 12.5, and watchOS 8.7. Those primarily consisted of bug hunts and security fixes, though there were a couple of new features mentioned. Now Mac Rumors has news of one more fix and one more feature. On the fix side, the site says iPadOS 15.6 fixes a charging issue with iPad mini running iPadOS 15.5. Earlier this month, we heard word that the 15.5 update kind of hosed charging for some 6th generation iPad mini units. Now Apple's release notes say the update fixes an issue where iPad mini 6th generation may not detect a charger or other USB-C accessory. As for the new feature, well, it's not so much new as expanded. A separate piece from Mac Rumors says 2 more languages about which we had not heard have added Siri support in HomePod. Midweek, we heard that HomePod software 15.6 had added Siri voice recognition support in Mandarin Chinese, Cantonese, and Japanese. Now the Mac Rumors piece says support has shown up for Norwegian and Swedish as well. As for why Apple didn't mention the additions, may have to do with HomePod not being available in Norway nor Sweden. With the new languages, Mac Rumors figures HomePod Mini should go on sale in those countries in the next few months. More news in a moment, but first a word from BetterHelp, sponsor of today's show. I think a lot of times we can choose to be happy. I also think a lot of times we don't know how. I know a lot of times I get stuck in my head, and I think a lot of times figuring out how to get unstuck is difficult. If you could use some help with that, consider BetterHelp. Now, I do want to stress the help part. A counselor cannot make everything better. Rather, BetterHelp counselors help you deal with whatever is stressing you, troubling you, bringing you down. While BetterHelp works hard to find the right counselor for you, if you and your counselor don't gel, you can change counselors, no problem. I have had that happen once with BetterHelp. Changing was easy, no questions asked, and no additional cost. If you are ready to try to make things better, try BetterHelp. macOS Ken listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. That's betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Get started today at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. The game-playing world finally has answers about the titles leaving Apple Arcade. Not which ones, we know that already. Earlier this week, Apple launched a Leaving Arcade Soon section in its subscription game service. While it answered the question around which games were leaving, 15 of those for now, it left open a few pretty big questions. Like, when are they leaving? Will downloaded games still be playable? And assuming developers make the game available outside Apple Arcade, can game progress be carried over to the same game purchased in the App Store? Now iDownload blog brings us some answers. Going through those, will downloaded games still be playable? Yes, then no. According to the piece, Apple's support document clarifies that customers will have up to 2 weeks to play a game that is no longer available on the service. After 2 weeks have expired, the Apple Arcade version will no longer be playable. Could be worse. Assuming developers make the game available outside Apple Arcade, can game progress be carried over to the same game purchased in the App Store? Short answer, it depends. Slightly longer answer, it depends on the developer. While the piece says a player's saved game progress will remain stored locally on their device or in iCloud, transferring that progress to the new binary will take a bit of work on the part of the developer. iDownload blog says the new app would need some extra code to transfer your saved progress from the removed Apple Arcade version. As for the when they're leaving question, the piece does not have a hard answer for that. At least users will have a couple of weeks to soften the blow. More Apple history is hitting the auction block. Apple Insider has word of documents signed by the Cupertino Company's two Steves. Those would, of course, be Jobs and Wozniak. The piece says they are being included in a new Apple, Jobs, and computer hardware lot headed to auction soon. Bidding on the Jobs document starts at $1,000. Bidding on the Woz doc starts at $200. That may seem rude, but it likely has a bit to do with scarcity. Signatures by Steve Jobs are known to be fairly rare. Conversely, I've seen Wozniak sign his name, and I've only seen Wozniak once. Still, his signature on a business doc could be worth a quatlu or two. Theirs are not the only signatures in the lot. The piece says some of the tech pioneers whose signatures are represented include Bill Gates, Esther Dyson, Pixar co-founder Alvy Ray Smith, former Apple CEO John Sculley, and former Apple design team member Bill Atkinson. Lots of other tech memorabilia as well. Run by RR Auction, bidding begins today, Friday, the 22nd of July. The auction ends on Thursday, the 18th of August. And finally today, you are not going to believe this, but there is an early Apple I computer going on sale that I actually find interesting. Yes, I tend to make fun of such auctions when they happen. I mean, how many times a year can you say this ultra-rare machine is going on sale before you stop believing in their rarity? But this one, highlighted by Cult of Mac, is really rare. One point of interest, it does not work because it was a prototype. According to RR Auction, which is running this sale as well, the board's present condition lends some insight into Steve Jobs' judgment of it. He saw the prototype not as something to be enshrined, but as something to be repurposed. Several of the ICs have been plucked from their sockets as have the microprocessor and other components, presumably for use on early production Apple I computers. Which brings us to another interesting point. This is not an Apple I. According to the cult text on the left side of the board reads, Apple Computer A, while production model units are labeled Apple Computer 1. The piece says this machine is the prototype Jobs demoed for the Byte Shop. That led to a deal that launched Apple on its path to success. Bidding on the machine currently stands at just under $130,000. Expected to climb a little bit at least. That sale also ends on the 18th of August. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.